Well, hello everyone, welcome to another video. It is me, Desiree, and today's gonna be the update, Shop My Stash update. So at the beginning of the month, I went through my collection and I picked out some drugstore makeup that I either hadn't used in a while, wanted to rediscover, things like that. And I was using these all month, and now I'm just gonna let you know how they worked for me, reviews, what I'm gonna keep, and what I'm going to declutter. I also did a video putting all of this stuff on my face, which I'll link in the description box in case you wanna see any of this stuff in action. So for foundation, primer. So primer, I pulled out the Revlon Rose Glow Face Gloss. This is an awesome primer from Revlon. I'm totally gonna keep this. I love this because it reminds me so much of my favorite primer that's now discontinued from Laura Geller, the Spackle Under Makeup Tinted Primer in the shade Ethereal. So it does on the packaging here, it says it's 80% water, but I have had this for a couple of years now, so like the super watery kind of texture that it has, it's not there that much anymore. It's definitely more of just a typical creamy primer texture now. It's not thick or heavy or anything like that, but it's just not as watery as it once was. But it has a beautiful glow to it, kind of pinky, a tiny bit maybe lavender, mostly pink though. It's super, super pretty on the skin, like on bare skin, under foundation, under makeup at all. It's so, so pretty. I love it. And I loved using this month so much. I feel like if I keep using it, I will definitely finish it up this year, but I loved it. Definitely gonna keep it. A hidden gem, I think, for Revlon. It is, I think, a little expensive if I remember correctly. But it's lasted me a long time, and I think it's absolutely awesome. Slightly hydrating as well. Really, really pretty. Foundation, I pulled out the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. So this is a tinted moisturizer from Wet n Wild. It says it has hyaluronic acid, squalane, it's oil-free, it has sheer to medium coverage. I think this has like a pretty solid medium coverage to it. It's very, very moisturizing. Like, it does feel like it's a moisturizer as well, but it performs more like just a hydrating foundation, to be honest. I haven't actually used this as a moisturizer, have I? I don't remember if I have. I usually just tend to use this as a foundation. It does have a pretty decent coverage to it. It's very, very creamy. Like, it's really, really pretty on the skin. I think this is a million billion times better than the Photo Focus foundations that they have. I think this is 1,000 times better than those, and it doesn't have that gross paint smell that those ones do either. Super pretty on the skin. Like I said, it's very high coverage though, although it looks great on the skin. It wears all day. Just a really beautiful product, and definitely one that I hope Wet n Wild keeps around forever. Concealer, I pulled out the No. 7 Lift Illuminate Serum Concealer. This is one of my all-time favorites. I've used up, I don't want to say a few of these, but I have used up a couple of these over time. They've had this in their line for a couple of years, I think, at this point. I have here the shade Light. I really, really wish they would expand the shade range, because I think obviously a lot more people would be able to use it and discover it, because it's absolutely stunning. The finish of this, the formula, the blendability, the way it looks on the skin, it's so beautiful. Like, this is one I almost like to use as foundation. Like, I just want to cover my entire face with it because it's so, so, so pretty. Wears under the eyes really nicely, doesn't crease, anything like that. It's a great, great, great concealer. Definitely one of the best out there, high end and otherwise. But I really wish they would expand the shade range, because I think there's only four or five shades. Yeah. Powder. So I pulled out the Milani Prep Set and Glow Illuminating Transparent Powder. I used this all month and I loved it so much. Definitely gonna keep it. They did discontinue this, unfortunately. I do have another one in the packaging still, in the wrapping still, that is just waiting to be opened. But I used the heck out of this powder. I love it so much. Dang, I really wish they didn't discontinue this, because it's a really lightweight, pretty, glowy powder. Like, it's a non-matte powder, but it's not like shimmery or highlighting or anything like that. It's just, it makes your skin look like, you know, it'll set your makeup and not make it look flat. It'll just keep your skin with this nice, healthy something to it without it looking shimmery. It's so good. I love the heck out of this, use the heck out of it, definitely gonna keep it, and I think I'll probably end up using it up this year as well. Hopefully. I'm trying to have more than just mascaras in my 1 year of makeup empties video that I put up in December, and I think I'm gonna actually have some powder products and I think a foundation in there this year as well. So love it, gonna keep it. I picked a lot of really good things this month, so I'm not decluttering a ton, just heads up. The highlighter I picked is from Milani. It's the highlighter duo, the cream and powder duo in the shade Supercharged. I only have one of these and it is so pretty. It's supposed to be a cream and a powder. I have never been able to tell the difference on which side is cream and what side is powder because they feel exactly the same. But after this whole month, I really tried to see which side was which, and I think this side might be the cream side. Just because when I swatch this pink one, it seems like it's more powdery, and when I swatch this side, although it feels exactly the same, just the finish on it, it looks a little more cream-like. I don't think it really matters. It does not perform like a cream highlighter at all. It really just performs like a powder, and these are so pretty. So you get this really nice, like pearly, like really light champagne one here, and this one's on the side with a little bit of pink to it. I tend to just mix them together, use one at a time. They're so pretty, very brightening. Yeah, I love this, definitely gonna keep it. It's one of my favorites, and I never realized how many favorites I have from Milani because I don't know, I just don't, I guess. But yeah, this is one of my favorites from Milani. Love it. Because then I also talked about how much I love this powder. I have a couple of other things from Milani I really love. But yeah, gonna keep it. For blush, oh my goodness, I was so happy to rediscover this month. It's from Revlon. It's the Naughty Nude. Their powder blush in the shade Naughty Nude. So I've had this, well, I've had this one for a couple of years, but I've been using this blush for like over 10 years at this point. It's one of my favorite blushes I've ever used. I think it was one of the first that I ever purchased, if I'm not mistaken. And I love the color of this. It's a really pretty nude with a little bit of rosiness to it. It kind of goes with everything. And it's what I reach for a lot when I don't really know what to use, if I don't want the blush to be like the standout. I think it's so similar to MAC's Warm Soul. Just a really pretty, like super finely milled satin finish powder blush. Really easy to blend. They have some really nice shades as well. Love this a lot. The packaging doesn't look like this anymore, although it's still black. The window here fills out this whole section, and they took out the brush, so you don't get the little brush anymore. But they still make the shade, and I love it. Definitely gonna keep it. I love it so much. The bronzer I picked was the L'Oreal Glam Bronzer for face and body. The packaging doesn't look like this anymore either. They did redo it. It's the same size and style. It's just like a light pink or purpley kind of color, I think. And I think it's called Lumi Bronze or something like that. This one did break off, like the lid fell off. But here's the bronzer here. This is a super pretty bronzer with a little bit of like that orange reddy undertone. I love that kind of undertone in bronzer. And this also has a little bit of shimmer in it. You can't really see it too much just looking at the packaging. You might just think it's, I don't know, like a satin finish. But when you put it on your skin, you can kind of see it just a little bit. It reminds me a lot of the same like effect that I get from the Rimmel powder bronzer. It has that kind of orange undertone with a little bit of glitter in it. Really pretty. Obviously I love it because I hit pan there. Gonna keep it forever. Love it so much. The eyeshadow palettes that I picked out the Profusion Citrine palette. I think this is the one I used in the video, and I did use this a few times this month, but I only really used these two yellow shades there. I didn't really touch the rest of the palette at all. I don't know what it was. I just wasn't interested in it. And then the few times I used like the shimmer shades, they were kind of dry and lackluster. They didn't stick that nicely. I don't know. I really only reached for the two matte yellows. They're very soft, very dusty, but they're pigmented and very pretty. I don't know. I'm going to declutter this because although I did like those two yellows, I didn't like the rest of the palette, and I have other yellow shadows I really like. I don't need to keep this just for those, so I'm going to let that go. Oh, the other palette I picked out was the L'Oreal Paradise Enchanted Scented Eyeshadow Palette. This is one of my favorite palettes ever, not just from the drugstore. It's just one of my absolute favorites. I love the color selection in here. Every single shade goes well with every other shade. Like you could pick that little like pinky one and that shimmer, it'll go really well together. The dark brown and this one with the shimmer, like the palette was so well done, super pretty colors. The formula is so nice, soft, buttery, blendable, really, really easy to use. The shimmers are super pretty and just really easy to use. Like it's a really nice beginner-friendly palette. Love this a lot. You know what? Now I can smell it. The other day, or not the other day, but when I was first talking about the palette, I felt like I couldn't smell it anymore, but now I can smell it. I don't know, it says scented palette, but it doesn't tell you what it's scented like. It just has like a smell. And oddly enough, I didn't use this once all month. I was so excited to shop my stash for it, and I didn't open it once because I had so many other things I was testing out this month for like new drugstore releases, so I didn't get to this at all. Maybe I'll stick it in like March's shop my stash, but for now, I still love it. It's still one of my favorite palettes, but I didn't use it at all for some reason. But I think I might put this in March's because who knows? I've had this for a couple of years now, like since it came out. Maybe the formula's changed over time. Maybe I won't like it as much as I used to. Maybe I'm romanticizing it. Who knows? But I like it for now and I'm gonna keep it. I have the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in the shade Ice. This is just a really nice gloss, you know, has a great scent to it. What is that, like fake coconut or something? The taste doesn't get in your mouth too much. Like, you know, sometimes glosses have a really strong scent and you could taste it. This doesn't get in your mouth too much, but it's still there. It has a big old giant doe foot applicator. It's a very kind of thick kind of gloss, but it hangs on your lips a pretty decent amount of time. Love this color and gonna keep it. And then the last thing I shopped my stash for was the Maybelline Curl Bounce mascara. I love this thing so much. I think it's very underrated for Maybelline. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. Although one of you guys had mentioned, like left me a comment on my video that I did called If I Could Only Keep One, and you said this mascara would be like the one you could keep. I thought that was pretty cool because I don't hear a lot of people talk about this anymore. But I love this mascara. It has a curled wand, a little bit of a drier formula, but it does lift your lashes and it kind of helps curl them a little bit, which is really cool. Lasts all day, no smearing, smudging, flaking, or anything. And I feel this is so similar to the Dior Iconic Overcurl Mascara. I think it's so similar. It's freaky. But yeah, I love this a lot and I'm gonna keep it because, you know, it's almost done. It's not as mascara-y as it once was, so I'm gonna keep it till I use it up. I don't think I'd repurchase this yet because, you know, there's always more mascaras that I want to try, but like it enough to keep it, and I think it's very underrated for Maybelline. And I think that is it. Those are the products I shop my stash for and my little reviews on them. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment down below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for another video. Goodbye.